Well, I don't know about you, but I've had about enough of the isms already. Every time the woke left gets their feelings hurt, the thought police come out and start screaming Nazism, racism, sexism, and every other ism they can think of, and here we go again. So, what am I talking about? Well, let me tell you the real story about Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle Jeans campaign. First, let's look at some headlines. American Eagle ads slammed as Nazi propaganda by crazed woke mob over jeans. Jeans pun. Okay, that's the jeans you wear and the jeans that make up your composition as a human being. American Eagle sparks backlash for touting Sydney Sweeney's great jeans. American Eagle, Sydney Sweeney take heat for tone-deaf messaging. Now, you hear these headlines like takes heat for tone-deaf messaging. Really? Like from who? The headline says takes heat, so are there like 100,000 people down on Times Square? Are there 1 million people lined up saying, oh my God, things have gone crazy? No, it's just a headline about some loudmouth activists that are making noise. What do you mean take heat? This is not about American Eagle being tone deaf. It's about some lunatic fringe once again losing its mind.
Have you lost your mind?
You lost your mind? What are you talking about?
You lost your mind? What are you doing?
Let's watch the ad. Okay, this will be some free advertising for American Eagle jeans, but let's watch the ad.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
Okay, this is a clever play on words, right? Denim jeans, chromosomal jeans. The ad references a pair of blue jeans. We're talking a pair of blue jeans. This isn't going to knock the world off the axis. It's a pair of blue jeans and Sydney Sweeney's genetic makeup, but liberals don't get it. Did they miss the point here, or did they just not want to get it and accused American Eagle and Sydney Sweeney of being Nazi sympathizers? Really? Where's the common sense here? You don't have to react every time you have a chance to react. You don't have to jump up and scream bloody murder every time you have a chance to. It's like every thread doesn't have to be pulled. The phrases good genes and great genes maybe have historically been used in the language of eugenicists who believe the human race can be improved genetically by selective breeding. Okay, that's a very narrow use of that word, and I don't really think the American buying public goes there. I'm not sure they've all spent a lot of time in genetic training. The term is often used to celebrate thinness, attractiveness, and whiteness. Nobody's ever said that to me. Is it a fair point? Maybe in very narrow applications. And if that's a point, then how about a civilized conversation about it? But no, we don't want a civilized conversation. We don't want a cancel culture. The woke left is again jumping at the opportunity to shame and cancel everyone and everything that rubs them the wrong way. Don't miss a chance. Instead of having a cancel culture, a civilized conversation, they're screaming at their social media feeds comparing the ad to Nazi Germany.
Those Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads are weird. Like fascist weird. Like Nazi propaganda weird.
This next TikToker somehow made it Donald Trump's fault.
My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has very keens.
Now listen to what Trump said back in October.
Now a murderer, I believe this, it's in their genes.
And we got a lot of bad genes in our country right now.
Y'all, this isn't casual or subtle. We have the president back in October talking about bad genes, literal fascist language, and now we have corporations sliding in eugenics, and some of y'all are justifying it because it's sexy.
So, how do we unpack all of this? First, I have to say, these Holocaust analogies are insulting. They're insulting. The Holocaust was one of the greatest travesties in human history. You know, one of the first movies that I remember was The Trials at Nuremberg. I saw this in like the 5th or 6th grade. And if you've never seen it, it's not for entertainment. It is for education.
This is what we stand for. Justice, truth, and the value of a single human being.
And it left an indelible impression on me. I was maybe 11 years old. And the images changed me forever. The piles of bodies. 6 million is a lot. And 6 million Jews were systematically murdered, 1/3 of the world's Jewish population at the time. And by the way, Jews weren't the only people persecuted and murdered in Nazi Germany. 5.7 million Soviet citizens, almost 3 million Soviet prisoners of war, 2 million non-Jewish Poles, Roma gypsies, Serb civilians, disabled people, repeat criminal offenders, asocials, Jehovah's Witnesses were also murdered. How dare you trivialize mass murder and Hitler's final solution to a blue jean commercial? What the hell are you thinking? I get it. You don't like the play on words. Words can be dangerous, but not as dangerous as being ignorant, not as dangerous as being overreactive. The hell are you thinking? A recent survey shows that 63% of all millennial and Gen Z responders were not aware that 6 million Jews were even murdered. And now the race card. Comment. This is what happens when you have no people of color in a room, particularly in a time like this. This ad campaign got so caught up in the clever play on words and this stunt, the people in the room missed what was so blatantly obvious to anyone not white. Again, fair point? Maybe. But if that is a fair point, instead of cancel culture, how about an intelligent conversation? How about cancel being replaced by counsel? How about some common sense? Are you really wanting to bring about change? Then how about some conversation? How about not running to the media? How about going down and saying, hey, we have a point of view here that we'd like to share, but not drawing attention to yourself. By the way, Sweeney's signature gene is called the Sydney gene. There's an embroidered butterfly on there that represents domestic violence awareness. And Sweeney is going to donate 100% of the net proceeds from the Sydney gene to the Crisis Text Line, a nonprofit which provides free mental health support and crisis intervention. Instead of celebrating her generosity, haters are slamming her, arguing the ad's sexuality isn't appropriate for domestic violence. Really? How do those two go together? Keep in mind, this is the same radical left that embraces nudity and sexualization at pride parades. The same radical left that holds topless demonstrations in the name of women's rights to be contradictory and believing in both of them? Who needs logic when you have a megaphone? This kind of reminds me of 1984 by George Orwell, written in 1948, by the way, and what he called doublethink, the ability to hold simultaneously two opinions which cancel out. Don't these people get hoarse at some point where they just can't yell anymore? What happened to critical thinking? I hope when you hear these things, I hope when you hear me, you stop and think, maybe he's right. Maybe common sense needs to weigh in here. This is a talented young woman doing a commercial, donating proceeds. We need to think freely. We need to speak freely. And these people that are criticizing this and yelling Holocaust comparisons, they have the right to do it. It's free speech. They can do it. But come on. If the left wants to spout nonsense, they can. They have the right. It's their free speech privilege, but it's also your free speech to not listen. Consciously choose which voices in your life deserve the most attention. And when those voices are calm and they're reasonable and ready to engage in an intelligent conversation, then be all ears and respond. And until then, don't give these bullies the time of day. Tell them to zip it and move on. I think I'm going to go buy 10 pairs of these jeans and give them to some of the women in my life. If I've got a granddaughter and daughter-in-laws and my wife, I'll support American Eagle jeans and Sydney Sweeney. And that's the real story, at least from my point of view. Wherever you're getting the real story, make sure you subscribe and follow. I'll see you Monday. Whether it's talk of a Nobel Peace Prize or fears of World War III, one thing's certain: uncertainty rules the day. And when the world feels this unstable, your finances are on the line. If Iran blocks the Strait of Hormuz, oil prices could skyrocket just like the 1970s. That triggered inflation, gas shortages, and a weakening dollar. Wall Street's already tense. Goldman Sachs sees sustained recession risk, and JP Morgan warns of a potential oil shock. Add in $36 trillion in national debt, and the financial pressure is real. This isn't hype, it's a wake-up call. The time to act is now. That's why I trust Preserve Gold. When the world turns unstable, smart folks turn to gold and silver. Text Dr. Phil to 50505 to get your free precious metals guide from Preserve Gold. As a bonus, you can get up to $15,000 in free silver with a qualified purchase. So don't wait. Text Dr. Phil to 50505 today.